Okay, so question 7. We've got red to yellow to orange, and it's 7 to 4 to 9. I want to find the percentage of the buttons in the jar that are orange. Now I know that a percentage is anything out of 100. So to start with, what I'm going to do is set up the number of orange buttons as a fraction, any fraction I can. And I know that this means I've got 9 parts compared to 4 parts in yellow and 7 parts of red. So what I want to say is, right, I've got 9 parts of orange out of it, the total, which is 7 plus 4 plus 9, okay, which gives me 20. So 9 out of 20 buttons are orange. To convert this into out of 100, I'm going to times by 5. 9 times by 5 is 45. So 45% is my answer. Right, question 8. Diagram shows a sector of the circle with a radius of 4. Now I want to work out the length of the arc ABC. Key thing here, we should remember that the length of the arc is the length of this line. So we're going to set up the fraction out of 360 that I need to multiply by my circumference, because it's the arc length, and I need to remember that circumference is 2 times pi times r. I need to know what this angle on top is, and my instinct might be to use 100, but 100 is outside of the circle, so actually I want to know what's in here, and that is going to be 260, because its angles around a point. So 260 divided by 360 times by the circumference will give me my answer. So it's going to be 260 divided by 360 times by 2 times by pi times by 4, which is my radius, okay, because I've got the radius there as 4 centimeters, okay, given to me up here as well. I'm going to plug that into a calculator. And I'm asked, and that will give me this number, which is 18.15142422. And I'm asked to give my answer to 3 significant figures. So I count from the left, 1, 2, 3, put my line if I want to, and I look next door, okay? Now the 5 means I round up, so my answer, 18.2 centimeters. Simple. Now, question 9. Bob asks 40 friends how many minutes they took to get to work. The table shows some information about his results. Work out an estimate for the mean time taken. Now, this question is different from the previous question that we looked at, where I mean from a table, because I've got groups. Okay, I've got groups here that I need to deal with. Now, I want to be able to do exactly the same process, wherein I find, right, I'm going to calculate the total divided by the number of friends. Now I'm told in the question there are 40 friends. So I need to do the total minutes divided by 40. Okay. We should remember that I want to use, because I don't know, I've got 3 people took between 0 and 10 minutes to get to work. But I don't know how many, or exactly how long they took. So I need to estimate how long they took, and I do that with the midpoint. Now the midpoints are as follows. Between 0 and 10 is 5. Between 10 and 20 is 15. Between 20 and 30 is 25. Between 30 and 40 is 35. Between 40 and 50 is 45. Now my next step is then similar to the previous question that we looked at, where we had finding the mean. And I want to get, so I'm saying that there are 3 people who took, and I'm going to say 5 minutes each, and that's my estimate. So I'm going to do 3 times by 5 and get 15. Then I'm going to do 8 times by 15, and I get 120. I'm going to do 11 times by 25, and I get 275. I get 9 times by 35, and I get 315. I get 9 times by 45, and I get 405. I then need to add all of them together. And I get 1,130. So my calculation for the mean is 1,130 divided by 40. And that'll give me 28.25 minutes. Okay. Now it can be worth, and this is what I'm going to do now, just double checking that I've done all of this correctly. And just double checking that I've done my multiplications correctly. Because if I make one mistake, I will get the wrong answer. Okay, so I'm going through and just double checking that I've made no mistakes. And I'd encourage you to do the same. And to do that, I'm re-adding up all of these numbers and just double checking my midpoints as well. Okay, now I still get 1,130, and I divide that by 40, and I still get 28.25. So that's perfect. Okay, one more question to have a look at. Now, the first question here, we should be comfortable with. It's asking us to find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of the sequence. Nth term for a sequence, I need to find the differences, which are 5s. And that means I'm going to be using 5 times by n. I then want to compare the 5 times table with this sequence I've got. Now, if I've got the 5 times table, which is this, and I want it to be 4, 9, 14, 19, 24, I need to subtract 1 from every single one of these numbers to get to these numbers. So my final one will be 5n minus 1. Okay? Now, this last question is a bit of a challenge. I'm hoping some of you have got it. But for this last question, it says you've got 5 terms of a sequence. You're told that the nth term of the expression is 3n minus n squared. And it's asked you to write down, now key thing here, a bit of exam technique, write down means that you should be able to do it without calculating. Okay, so what it's asking you is likely to be either it's a definition, so they're asking you to show something that is just a fact you should know, or they're asking you to understand and just use a bit of logic to answer a question nice and quickly. And for this question, it's the second part, some logic to answer it quickly. If I look at this and then compare it to this, I should be able to see that this first question sequence, number 1, if I multiply it by 2, I get my second sequence. Every number is multiplied by 2. Now, if that's the case, then my nth term should be 2 times the nth term of the first sequence, which I'm told is this. And so I can expand that out, and I should get this. Okay. Now I can check if I'm correct because I want to. If these are the first 5 terms, I can put in n equals, let's say n equals 4 into this and see if I get negative 8. So I'm going to do 6 times by 4, and then I'm going to subtract 2 times by 4 squared, which is 16. And I get negative 8. Let's try n equals 2, so the second term, and I should get 4. 6 times by 2 minus 2, lots of 2 squared, which is 4, and I get 4. So this is giving me the correct answers, so I should be confident that that is correct. Okay, so we're just using some logic for that last one. A bit of a challenge, but a relatively easy mark if we get it. Well done, and any questions, let me know.